guys, so we're going to be doing Scatterplots. So we are actually on the evil page 666. But we're going to be doing Scatterplots today, and I got to say they're absolutely super duper easy with the things that you need to do today, okay? First of all, you might be asked to construct a scatterplot, and so you're just going to plot some points. Do the best that you can. When you do this, typically your x-axis is the first column, right? And so we're going to label it with weeks. This second column is going to be your y-axis, and so we're going to label it with weight. And when I say do the best that you can, 0, 6 is pretty easy to plot, but 9, 8.6 is a little bit different. So just go a little before 9 and a tad bit past 8. So that your dot is not exactly on a grid line, okay? That's all that means. Let's see, 1810, 27, and then 13-ish. Might want to be checking my points to make sure I'm putting them in the correct location. 34, and then 15 would be like in the middle of 14 and 16. 43, and then 17-ish. And then 49, close to 20, would be something like that, okay? And so there you go, scatterplot, okay? We're just plotting points. One of the things that you have to be able to know is you have to be able to say what kind of association it has. If the majority of the dots are going in an upward motion as you read from left to right, okay? So as you walk along, the x-axis, you would be traveling up, so this is a positive association. This one would be going down, okay? And then if they don't all appear to be going up or appear to be going down, then we say there's no association at all, okay? One of the other things that we do is we say whether or not it is linear versus nonlinear, and so if you are able to draw a line through the dots, or it looks like it's able to draw a line through the dots, we call it linear. And if you're not, we call it nonlinear. Speaking of nonlinear, let's go talk about COVID-19 really quick, because this particular scatter plot kind of reminds me of an exponential. And that is what they were saying was happening with COVID and the spread, right? So I actually have a couple of scatter plots related to the coronavirus or COVID-19. The first thing that we can say with this one is that it has a positive association, right? There's definitely an increase. And we kind of look at it and say, okay, well, what is there an increase in, right? And so as the number of daily deaths goes up, the number of total deaths obviously is going to go up, and so that kind of makes a little bit of sense. Here's another one. This one, again, this is a positive association because the data appears to be going up. This one does not appear to be as linear as the other one, and so for this one, I would say it is non-linear. Okay, this one's probably non-linear. This one looks a little more linear than the other one did. Okay, the other thing that you can do and you can look at with scatter plots is you can talk about what are called clusters and what is an outlier. And so if you have a lot of data that's all grouped together, this would be called a cluster, okay? And then if you have like a little piece of information out there, we call it an outlier. And this is where you can kind of ask questions, right? You can be like, well, what's going on with this particular piece of data? What happened, right? What happened with that? And so let's take a look at this one that I have here. So we can look, it looks like there's a lot of information down here. And so we can kind of say, hey, there's like a big cluster down here, right? As I'm looking, if I drew a line in the middle and even spaced it out a little bit, I would say that maybe South Korea is close to being an outlier. And so if this has to do with COVID-19 or with coronavirus, you can go like, hey, what's going on in South Korea, right? Why is this number so different? What are they doing or what's happening over there? Here's one, right? You could almost say here is a cluster. There could be another cluster over here. I would say this would be another outlier. And this has to do with temperature. So as the average temperature increases, the humidity is increasing. But why? What's going on with this one, right? What does that have to do with anything? And I don't know if you've been noticing, but that's what they've been doing with coronavirus, right? They look at this data and then they say, okay, well now what, right? What is happening here? What can we do? And so that's one of the things that you're going to have to do, right? Okay, so let's go take a look at the got it's down here. And let's just see, okay? You're going to interpret it, and basically all you're going to say, is it positive? Is it negative? Is there a cluster? Is there an outlier? What kind of patterns do you notice, okay? If we look at the first one, it looks like it's definitely going down, so I would say there's a negative association between the data, okay? And does it make sense? As time goes on, is the temperature decreasing? Well, it depends on where we are and what we're talking about, but sure, okay? There don't seem to be any clusters. It doesn't seem to be any outliers. But the only other thing is that I would say is that it appears to be linear. Okay, appears to be linear. How about letter C? As the day goes on, or as the number of days increases, the number of pints of, and it looks like we're talking about ice cream is sold. And so is there a correlation between that? And I would say no, right? There's no correlation at all. It doesn't seem like the number of days have anything to do with how many pints of ice cream are sold, okay? Sometimes they're going to have you actually build it and then discuss it, which is what page 669 is about. Let's go take a look at the got it up at the top. And then it's going to maybe ask you another question. Okay, so let's go take a look at this one. So this is a scatter plot for men's Olympic freestyle swim, right? Okay, so imagine Michael Phelps swimming, okay? It says, if an association exists, make a conjecture about the winning time in the 2016 Olympics, okay? So it looks like every year the winning times got lower and lower, so the swimmers were swimming faster, right? Michael Phelps is crazy, okay? So they were swimming faster as the years went on, so there's definitely a negative correlation or negative association. And then in the year 2016, as things keep going down and down and down, let's see, it looks like this is 2008 or 2008. This would be 2016. I can kind of draw a line. It looks like we might be around 44-ish. Okay, so that's what I would say, maybe 44 seconds. Okay, now is the time. Go ahead and pause your screen. Go ahead and answer the guided practice questions and see how you do. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and pause it a little bit early because I wanted to talk to you about number or letter C. But hopefully your graph looks similar to my graph. Okay, and then I just said, yes, there's positive correlation, and yes, I think it is linear, okay? So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about this conjecture, right? This is making a guess, okay? We're just guessing. And so, you know, with the whole COVID-19 thing and the whole coronavirus, right? That's what they were doing. They were estimating, so I don't know how many of you saw, like, they look like exponential curves, right? And they were just guessing where we were going to be, which is why, you know, they ended up kind of shutting things down. But so we're going to be guessing. Now, obviously, we're not going to be exact and we're not going to be perfect. But here's where your guess can be a good guess, okay? So in 50 hours, where are we going to be? So if I go over to 50 and I come up here, I definitely don't want anything from, you know, 60 down. Those are not good guesses. These are not going to work. right? We know that that particular dot is going to be in this location somewhere, okay? As long as you do not go over 80, as long as you are somewhere in the maybe 65 to 80 range, I would say your guess could be correct, okay? And that's just where you make a guess. Where do you think that dot, would be if it were there? So if I were to guess, I would say it would be around 75. But I would say as far as credit is concerned, what's going to get you the answer correct, it would be anywhere between 65 and 80. And if you can narrow that down and get it a little bit smaller, better. But it's okay that it's not exact, okay? So that's what you're going to do. You're going to go practice just like you have been, right? Getting the plots, actually putting the points on, and then making some conjectures about them. It's pretty easy. Your assignment is to do page 671 and page 673, okay? So 671 and 673, that's it for today.